Hello and welcome to the live Facebook launch of Let's Go Strolling by, oops, let me move it that way, by Katrina Germein, that's me, and Danny Snell, who was the illustrator. I'm actually really nervous. I thought that doing a Facebook launch would be pretty low key, that it would be a lot less stressful than a real launch, and I guess it is. There's no food or anything like that, but I can't gauge people's reactions. I don't know how people are going, so I don't know if I'm talking too much and when people are bored. Thank you to those people joining me. I've got my boys online. Thank you, Sam and Hugo. It's quite a big thing to support your mum. Becky and Mike, always there, first to arrive at any book launch. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And Elaine, oh, couldn't have a more supportive friend than Elaine Webster. So thank you for, oh, and Adam, gosh, I love the children's writing community. Thank you so much for joining me. The plan today is to talk about the book and how it became a book, and have a little look inside and maybe talk about some of the things that parents or librarians or teachers can do with the book and find out a little bit more about it. So there are some people who, oh, thanks Elaine for the love hearts. That's that feedback I need when I can't see anybody in the audience. Now there are some people who may already be familiar with the story Let's Go Strolling, or at least an early version of it. It's quite a specific cohort of people. If you had a baby in South Australia in 2011, then it's possible that you saw an earlier version of Let's Go Strolling. I told you it's a specific cohort. But if you had a baby in 2011 and you were living in South Australia, then you possibly would have had a copy of its playtime. So its playtime was in the baby reading packs, the Little Big Book Club baby reading packs. So they were free to all babies in South Australia. Such a wonderful program, Little Big Book Club. Gosh, we love you, giving books to babies. And inside its playtime was this little poem, Strolling. So that was a very early version of Let's Go Strolling. And the, oh, hi Carrie, and the publishers felt that there was the potential for the poem to actually become a book and to stand alone as a story. And so we did rework the poem, we added verses, we created more of a narrative, and that's how the story became a whole book, which is now illustrated by the amazing Danny Snell. I love the pictures, I love what Danny has done with the story, and you can see, oh, I'm not sure if you can see, there's a call coming up on my screen. That's it, I'll just close that. You can see even on the front cover the body language that Danny has captured between the father and the little girl. It's so beautiful. So I'm really happy with the book that Danny and I have created together. And the question that I get asked most often as a picture book writer who doesn't illustrate, I'm a one-trick pony, the question that I get asked most often is, oh, but isn't it hard to let somebody else illustrate your work? And what if you don't like it? And, you know, what if they don't draw what's in your head? Well, in actual fact, I don't know what's in my head. So lucky for me, my head is so cloudy that I'm never going to be disappointed. When I'm writing, I'm kind of working from emotions. I'm working on a feeling. I'm working from memories. And so what I have in my head is more a sense of the story. I'm listening to the words, to the rhythm and the rhyme, and creating an atmosphere. I've heard some writers say that they think like in movie scripts. Oh no, I can see there's 6 comments. Oh look, thanks. Sorry, I just saw the comments. Oh, thanks for the hands, Adam. Some authors say that they think in a movie script, so they're very visual. I don't think like that. So I don't know what's in my head, and I don't expect an illustrator to try and even begin to illustrate that jumble of ideas. In fact, I love the illustration process. I love that I can work on my story until I'm completely happy with it. Those 200 words or those 500 words, I don't do many. I'm a short word girl, but those words, I can work on them until I'm absolutely happy with them and I love them and I think they're as good as they can be, and then I hand those words over, and the publishers with the designer and the illustrator, they turn it into something even better. That's just like a gift. So no, I'm not worried that the illustrator won't draw what's in my head. However, I did get a little bit of a shock with Let's Go Strolling, because when I wrote Let's Go Strolling, I was thinking about me and my experience as a mother, and I could remember taking my babies out to the park when they were small. And so when the publisher said, oh, come and have a look at what Danny's done, and I was standing in front of the computer at the publishers, and they brought up this image, and I've gone, oh, but that's a dad. And they've gone, yeah, it's a dad. I said, oh, so Danny's drawn a dad. I was just trying to get my head around it because I'm thinking, that's not me. That's not me. And I said, yeah, he's drawn a dad because Danny is a father. And so I have written this story based on my experiences as a mother, and then Danny has illustrated the story based on his experiences as a father. And it's actually worked out really well because what we have is these beautiful illustrations that represent a warm family, and what could be better. So I'm really happy with how it's turned out. And we will have a little look inside in a little while, and Mum does actually make an appearance, so she's not left out of the story altogether. Now, I've just worked out to see the comments, I actually have to scroll, so I'm just catching up. Thank you to Steve Corrie, who's written, I reckon you're ace. Well, I reckon you're ace too, Steve Corrie. So let's have a little look inside Let's Go Strolling. We can see, I wish that the Facebook camera didn't work differently to my camera. I've been practicing on my computer, and it's not backwards when I do it. So I'm having a little bit of trouble. But let's, we can see in this story that it's published. How do I get it close? Ah, there we go. Mathematical brain. That it's, my fingers are going the right way. There we go. It's published by Little Book Press. Now, some people might not be familiar with Little Book Press because they are a really new publisher, and we are so lucky in South Australia to have them. The Little Big Book Club have been around for much longer, and they were creating titles like It's Playtime, but they have grown into this boutique trade publisher that launched last year, and they have a real focus on quality and a real respect for children. So everything they're creating is really respectful of their young readers, and they're just making beautiful, beautiful books. So I'm so happy that I can work with them and their incredible designers, their whole team. I love you ladies, you're just fantastic. So it's published by Little Book Press. It's called Let's Go Strolling by Katrina, Germein and Danny Snell. Hi Kay, thanks for joining. Oh, and I know this is little, but I love the green spine. I've never had a green spine. Isn't that beautiful? It's just so pretty. It stands out on the shelf. Love my green spine. So let's have a look. So on this page is the dedications, and Danny has dedicated the book, it says for autumn, from Danny Snell. And my dedication says for Tanya, for helping me through the baby years and beyond. And I'm trying not to get teary here. So people who know me know that Tanya Carroll is a dear friend of mine, and she's my dancing buddy. So we began our dancing years together at uni. Occasionally now as tragic middle-aged women, we go out dancing. When our children were little, when they were babies, there wasn't a lot of dancing to be had. So I had 3 babies in 2 years. So when my eldest turned 2, I then had twin babies, and Tanya was one of the people that supported me through that time. You know, it's a very special time, but it can be a little bit lonely when we're at home with the babies, which is why we need to get out. And so my dancing buddy became my, you know, mother friend, and we would sit at home and drink tea or Diet Coke, which I don't drink now because I don't do artificial sweeteners. But back in the day, plenty of Diet Coke and plenty of cups of tea, talking about how we could manage as parents and how we were going to raise these little people up. So thank you to Tanya for being my buddy before the baby years, during the baby years, and now after the baby years, as our little ones are ready to fly away. My son is 18 and he has his last day of school tomorrow. I cannot believe it. So I had to do reflecting when I wrote this book about those days. So it goes like this. It's called, oops, see, backwards, can't do it. Let me hold it this way. Let's Go Strolling by Katrina, Germein and Danny Snell. Oh, more comments. Sorry, I forgot to scroll. Adam, what's he put? Oh, sound is out of sync with the video. Oh, so do I look funny? I wonder if that's my computer or your computer. It might be my computer. I'm on my work computer. Let's blame work. Oh, Adam, back in sync. Good, good, good. All right. Let's Go Strolling by Katrina, Germein and Danny Snell. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We're just having a little look inside. Look outside, see the sun. Let's go now, have some fun. Pack our bag, find a hat, strap you in, cross the mat. That way, Katrina. Shut the door, you and me, naming things we can see. And you can see this beautiful, again, this beautiful body language that Danny has between the father and the child. It's just so gorgeous. And also some of the techniques he's used, and I don't know all the fancy illustrator techniques. So it's kind of, to me, I kind of say it's a bit collagey or a bit scrapbooky. If I move in close, you can see that the flowers, it is like they're sort of scrapbooked in, and same with these flowers here. I was looking at those ones, but these ones too. Whereas obviously Dad and the child, Danny, has somehow drawn them. Again, I don't know all the fancy terms, but I just love that it's that kind of mixed media, multi-layered illustration. It's really beautiful. Pussycat, yellow gate, letterbox, number 8. Puppy dog, butterfly, aeroplane, cloudy sky. And those of you who've heard me talk in schools before know that I talk to the children about trying as often as possible to include a dog in my stories. And I tell the children that that's because, you know, I really like dogs, and when we write about the things that are important to us, which is absolutely true. I also put dogs in the story because children love dogs. So I'd be really interested to see when this book makes its way into homes, if this becomes a favourite page for some children. I can see that Danny's even illustrated the little girl reaching out to the dogs. So yeah, always put a dog in. Traffic lights, rubbish truck, at the park, mother duck. Now, some people know that I'm very, very excited about the next page because it's very special and this has never happened to me before. Oh, just scrolling up through the comments, Mike Lucas has put a magic hat. Not sure what that is. Bit of banter going on. Oh, hey, Carrie. Aha. So, Carrie, I'm just stopping before the special page. Carrie Galash has put that the best advice that she had as a mother was just get out of the house every day. Totally, totally agree. And I look like, just putting this down for a sec, I look like a freak show. Like when I left the house with my babies, people would stare. They really would. You might have heard that a mother with a pram is invisible. And I think I experienced that with my first baby. When you have a pram and you're a new mum, you feel like nobody really notices you anymore. Twins, totally different story. If you have twins, you are the opposite of invisible. Everybody wants to look in that pram. They want to talk to your babies. And twins are special. I can understand that. But for me, heading out of the house, I would have the twin pram with the preschooler walking on the side. And then one of my babies, Sophia, who's not even online right now, one of my babies really liked to be held all the time or she would just cry. So in the end, I would have to take her out of the pram and I would have Sophia in the baby pack on my front, twin pram, one baby in the pram and the toddler walking alongside holding onto the pram. So people would stare. We were a travelling circus. In fact, when they got bigger, so now we've got twin toddlers in the pram and the preschooler would want to bring his bike. So he would bring his bike. Sophia would still decide that she wasn't very happy in the pram, so I'd have the toddler on my hip trying to push the twin pram, which was going crooked because it wasn't balanced evenly. And then the preschooler decides he doesn't want to ride his bike, so I'd have the bike on top of the pram, sort of on the handles of the pram, so I'm pushing the pram, which is going wonky, with the bike on top, with the toddler on my hip and the preschooler holding on. So I look like a travelling circus and people would stare, but I'm with Carrie. The best thing you can do when your children are little, other than read them stories on the lounge, which is great because you get to sit on the lounge, other than reading them stories, is get out of the house, let them run, let them scream, look at the birds, play in the dirt. Fantastic. So that's what this story is about without the freak show. And so coming up now is a very special page that people know I'm very excited about. So we'll just reread the last double page spread to get back in the feel. Traffic lights, rubbish truck, at the park, mother duck. Now this is called a gatefold page. And to be honest, I didn't know the fancy term for gatefold page. I just knew that some books had fancy pages that folded out, and wouldn't that be awesome? I didn't know I was getting one. Danny and the designer planned all this. Again, magic surprise. I told you it's a gift when people illustrate your stories because I didn't know this was going to happen. And so here we have gatefold page. So on this side of the gatefold page, we can see Dad with the little girl in the stroller. They've just arrived at the park. And I don't think I'll be able to get it all in. Oh, I might be able to. Oh, I can. Look at that. And then on the other side, meeting them is Mum with the little girl on the bike. And she's riding her bike, Hugo. Her mum isn't having to carry that bike. So there's Mum and the little child. I'm not sure if that's a boy or a girl, and Dad and the little girl and they're all meeting each other in the park. So I'm not going to read the rest of it. I'm just going to check my comments. Oh, look, Mark's doing a little picture of a bus. I'll have to go back and read all these comments because I'm not sure what the bus is for. But Tanya is here, Tanya Ingram. Hello, Tanya. Kylie, hello, Mandy Foot. Oh, it's so nice of everybody to join me. And Steve Curry has said gatefold page, love it. Oh, you're awesome, Steve Curry. And Mike Lucas is also being appropriately enthusiastic. Thank you so much. Now, I'm just going to flick to the very end to see the whole book. You'll have to buy it, but I'll flick to the end because, again, I just love the body language that comes through and the family. So it says, pussycat, at the door, you and me home once more. And this was one of the first illustrations that was sent through to me. So I'd been in the publishers and I'd seen just a bit of draft and found out that it was a dad. And then this was sent to me before I saw the whole book. And I did maybe cry just a little bit because it's so exciting to see your book come to life, but also I just think the relationship there that Danny has captured between the dad and the little girl is just, it's so beautiful. So I couldn't be happier. And how cute is this at the back? Now, if you do want to buy a copy, feel free to buy 1 copy or buy 10 copies. I have a pinned post on my Facebook page, which goes straight to Little Book Press, and you can buy a copy from then. The book officially comes out next month, but you can buy one from Little Book Press now. So that's pinned on my Facebook page. Normally, with a book launch, you do a whole lot of thank yous, but I don't have a captive audience. When you're at a book launch, you can't really just sidle out the door when the boring thank yous start, and you're also getting free wine. So I can't bore people with long thank yous. Becky, I like your smiley face, thank you. And Mike, I like your cat. So I'm just going to do 3 really quick thank yous. I do want to thank Little Book Press. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy to be working with you. I also want to thank Danny Snell. It's so great that we've made this book together, Danny. I just think that you've done such a beautiful job, and together we have created this book. And I also want to thank the people who have come along to this launch today, because there's not many strangers on this list. The people who are here, and I'm scrolling through, I can see you. The people who have joined me here are my friends, some family, and the writing community. And I know that you didn't necessarily feel like watching this tonight, but you're here to support me because you know how important my writing is to me, and you know how important children's books are to me, and how important the writing community is to me, and that's why you're here right now. So thank you very much for joining me and for bearing with me as I work out how this Facebook Live thing works. I'll see you later. Cheers.